This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa, using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa, for all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. For great food, it's your choice. Your Choice Family Restaurant of Wayland, Iowa. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Come to our cruise-ins this summer on the second Tuesday of the month, June through September. Girling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. CW Tree Trimming, LLC. We're into your trees, not your wallet. Serving all of Henry County and the surrounding area. We offer a senior citizen and veteran discount. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs, and they even have a conference room that you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present you the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com, for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. On this podcast episode, I'm going to take you back to Bright and Whoopie days. And what's kind of neat is when I was there, I was covering the Matt Stutzman car show, and you've already seen that podcast episode. And if you haven't, just go back in the library. You'll see it, and make sure when you do that, make sure to give it a like, follow, and subscribe. It's free. And make sure you do that with this episode too. But on this episode, we took a little break from the car show. We and my guest, Dave Morris, who is Washington, Iowa songwriter, and he's been working with musicians and singers and talent in Nashville, Tennessee. And you're going to get to hear his song, Time Machine. Dave, welcome to the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, John. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And, you know, one of the fun things about being a podcaster is you're out and about, you're shooting video, you're interviewing people on one topic, and you run into interesting people that have a completely different topic, but they also have related interests because you're at the same event. And this has happened to me today with you. And you, sir, are from Washington, Iowa.
Correct. Yep.
And I found out, we're just sitting in our lawn chairs under the shade tree here at Bright and Whoopie Days at the Matt Stutzman, second annual Matt Stutzman car show. And you tell me, I tell you, hey, I'm a podcaster. You tell me, hey, I'm a songwriter.
Yep. That's what I keep telling myself anyway. So far, I haven't had quite enough validation, but I'm on my way. And that's kind of one of the things I wanted to talk about today, kind of a little bit of the trials and tribulations of, you know, trying to become a songwriter. Just the kind of the way the music industry is today. And with the advantages of technology, I found out over the last year, there's a different avenue kind of to approach by.
There sure is. And that technology involves the internet. And I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for that.
Absolutely.
And it's incredible. And validation, first of all, if I am in any kind of source of validation for you, I hope I am, because you played one of your songs and it was incredible.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words, and it's fun doing it. You know, I've always loved music all my life. I wanted to be a musician, and tried the guitar, tried the drums. You know, I can't carry a tune in the sack, so definitely being a musician or a performer wasn't for me.
But you sure can write a song.
Well, thank you. That's a kind of a love that I found, and you know, it's just one of those outlets that really helps me tell a story. And there's been different times in my life over the last couple of years where it's been very beneficial to have that outlet to do that type of thing.
Wow. Now, you know, we all have our secret identities. You know, during the day, I'm a retired grandpa, and also when I get on my superhero clothes, I'm a podcaster.
There you go.
You're a songwriter. What is your other true identity?
Well, currently I'm a compliance auditor. So, you know, usually people hear the word auditor and they go, oh no, Mr. Boring. But I really have a good, fun job and get to travel around the country and visit some of the financial professionals that are associated with the firm I work for. So very enjoyable. I also have an eBay business that I do, and 12 grandkids and 5 kids that we hang out with. So and an airplane. So we fly around in an airplane, my son and I. So have a lot of hobbies. Of course, the car show today. So got an old Camaro that I like to go to car shows with. But so songwriting kind of fills in when you have some downtime, and it's pretty enjoyable. I really love it.
I say, just hearing everything you just said, I know if my brother-in-law Chris is watching, he'd be like, well, basically, you're just cool.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't know if my kids would say that for sure, but I think some of the grandkids think I'm cool because Grandma's got a cool car. So,
yeah, they have 67 Camaro.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And I know on my podcast episode on the car show, I showed that car.
Yeah.
I know I voted for it too.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'll give you your $5 later.
There you go. There you go. Well, the name of the song that you played for me when we were outside in the wind and the heat.
Yep.
Right now we're in the Brighton Community Center.
Yes.
And it's nice and air conditioned.
Yep.
What is the name of that song again?
It's called Time Machine.
Time Machine.
Yeah.
I have to tell my audience when I was listening to this, and I told you afterwards, I'm like, this is a song that if you are a red-blooded American man, you're going to love this song. And if you don't, I can't conceive anybody not relating to this song, man or woman.
Yeah.
And would you be willing to play a sample of that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now you got your machine here to do that, and I'm saying this for YouTube's benefit that Dave is giving us permission to play his song. Dave is playing his own song that he wrote, and can you kind of give us a little setup as far as who sings it and musicians and how you go about getting that to happen?
Yeah, I'll give you a little background before I get it going here. Okay. So my daughter and son-in-law live down in Nashville, Tennessee, and they made an acquaintance, with a publisher down there, music publisher. And there's literally hundreds of them down there, and everybody in Nashville wants to be an artist and be famous. I get that. But anyway, I was able to talk to him on several different occasions, and we became pretty good friends. And he started looking at some of the lyrics and stuff that I'm writing. And he hooked me up with some guys that are Nashville studio musicians. So there's so many talented people down there that if you need something recorded or played, there's a handful of people that'll do it for you. So that's basically what I do. I write the lyrics, and inside my head, I've got a tune or a melody that I think it should sound like. But since I'm not an actual musician, it's kind of hard for me to put that on paper. So I work with several different people down there. We'll do Zoom meetings and talk about the song. They'll give me some samples.
So do you hum the melody or to get the notes?
Yeah, so I give them a little bit of that. I'll tell them kind of how many beats per minute kind of in my head,
That's where that accountant stuff comes in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
That is incredible.
And then, they'll just whip out some different renditions, and we'll kind of work through, some different guitar solos here. And hey, it'd be good if we had a violin or piano. A lot of back and forth, but they really enjoy it. And, it's great for me when I see those words on a paper turn out to be a song. Very rewarding. And
it's like another child.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't need any more of those, but
Right.
So
one that you don't have to feed.
Exactly. Yes.
Well,
exactly.
Play it for us.
Okay, sure. Yep. This Time Machine. Whoops. We're gonna start at the beginning.
Okay.
Her black and white senior picture was taped to the glove box door. And there's petals from her prom corsage scattered on the floor. Our favorite song on that 8-track still plays on repeat. And every time I'm inside, I still see her in that seat. The old red paint is faded, it's on the downhill side of new. And the young man that used to drive grew old way too soon. I bought it back in high school turned 17. And every time I drive it, it turns into a time machine. All I do is turn the key, and it takes me back in time and drives me through the back roads of the days when she was mine. I know I'll never get her back. All I can do is dream of the days when there was shiny paint on my old red time machine.
That is awesome. I mean, that just hits memories for me. I'm sure it does for everybody that just heard it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that George Strait or Alan Jackson would be the perfect talent to sing this song.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You have someone else in mind?
No. I'm just glad, that people enjoy it. And, luckily now with the technology that's out there and all the different streaming platforms, I was able to produce my own album and release my own album. So I've got an album out there with 7 songs on it right now. You can get it on Apple, you can get it on iTunes, you can get Spotify, YouTube, whatever. And a lot of people, that I've talked to about it and I've shared it with, they see the Clio's Garage Band. So that's the name of the band, right?
Okay.
And that's like, on the cover. And they go, well, what's that about? Well, a funny story, I think it's kind of funny. So, back in high school, of course, we loved working on cars.
Sure.
And my dad,
there was no internet back
no,
then.
absolutely. That's all we did. We all had hot rods. So, my dad had a 2-car garage and he had all the tools. So after school, everybody would come to my house and hang out and we would work on our cars. But I told everybody, 4:45, everybody's got to scatter, right?
Because dad will be
my
home.
dad gets home, right? So there was one Friday afternoon, he come home early. I don't know, it was about 3:30. He come rolling up the alley. And there must have been 5 or 6 cars there. Doors open, hoods up, his tools are scattered everywhere, And he jumps out of his car and he goes, what the heck you think this is? Cleo's Garage, get this crap out of here. And it's like, Cleo's Garage, I've never heard of that.
That is awesome.
And it just stuck with me, since then.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of been my imaginary garage ever since then. So,
that is awesome.
Yeah, and since I'm not, the singer, since I'm not playing anything on there, I've got to have a band, right?
Yeah.
So it's Cleo's Garage.
Cleo's Garage.
Yep.
Well, I am going to, download that, and because I host a cruise in Wayland, the second Tuesday of the month, June through September, at Your Choice Family Restaurant.
I'll be there.
Awesome. Well,
I'll be there.
Then I'm going to introduce you that as I play that night, and this song should be played. And if your other songs are anything like that, they should be played and heard by lots of people too.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
Yep.
There's so many things that come to mind when I meet someone like you that's doing something that I don't do, but I am a benefactor of people that do. I mean, today, that's my favorite song of the day.
Oh, great.
For sure.
I'm glad to hear that.
And it's going to be in one of my lists of favorite songs. A friend of mine that I've known since 6th grade, Devin Anderson, who's down in Florida now, he is a singer-songwriter, and he wrote a song called One Ways that goes back to our high school days. But my favorite song, if someone asked me, and my go-to song, besides the theme to the Dukes of Hazzard, of course, would be Marshall Tucker Band, Heard It in a Love Song.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason is there's so much to it. The lyrics, the different instruments. I mean, you've got a flute, a piano, guitars, drums. There's just such a mixture, and it all comes together. I mean, to me, that's got to be up near the top. It's one of the favorite songs of all time.
It's a great song.
Who, when you are making these songs or you're writing these songs and you get them produced, do you envision anyone famous singing your songs? I alluded to George Strait and Alan Jackson would be great for the song you played for us, but do you ever think about that?
There's a lot of artists that I really love, and I love country music, I love rock music, I love oldies, I love all kinds of music. But when I'm writing a song, not really. I've just kind of got this imaginary voice in my head that's kind of singing these lyrics as I kind of put them down. But one of the great things about putting out your own music is you're the producer, right? So you can determine how that thing's going to sound. And sometimes it's hard because you've got that kind of audio visual imprint in your head of how this song's going to sound, but it's hard to articulate it to the musicians sometimes. And you just got to keep working at it and working at it. And then one day you strike gold in your head anyway. You go, that's exactly what I want it to sound like.
Wow.
And that's the fun part, is not just writing the lyrics, but it's actually building the song out. Knowing kind of the drum beat you want, the guitar. Do I want a fiddle or banjo in here? I will say that the first album I put out that's got 7 songs on there just runs a gamut of the type of songs that's on there. There's some rowdy country stuff on there. There's a couple of really cool love songs. One I wrote about my wife. There's just a lot of variety. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't get pigeonholed into, okay, this guy just writes X type of music, So it kind of runs the gamut. And I will have a new album coming out next month in July. I've got 10 new songs that we just got all done. So I'll be putting that out as well. So hopefully the people who like this first one will, come back and take a listen to the second one, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, what you don't know yet, but I'm going to ask you now,
Okay.
is if you can send me that screenshot of your album, because
Yes.
if you've done that, which I know you will,
Mm-hmm.
right now, as I'm talking, it's over your right shoulder. People are seeing your album cover right now.
Hilarious. That's awesome. Thank you.
So
Thank
tell
you.
them the title, because there's people that don't watch, they only
Sure.
listen.
Yep, it's Clio's Garage Band, and that's CLIOS, Clio's Garage Band, and the name of the album and that single we heard is called Time Machine.
Okay.
Time Machine.
So there, you folks that are listening, if you need to, back this up and play it again. You folks that are watching, you're seeing the actual album cover right now.
Awesome.
So it's really cool that in this day and age, I mean, when you're explaining how you get to produce it, you get to have it sound your way.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many artists that probably even today that do it the old-fashioned or traditional publishing way, and even in the past that never got to have that authority over their voice, or maybe even their song, because they had some producer who's sitting at the board and just knows exactly how they think it should be, and it may not be the way the artist thinks it.
Right. And that actually happened to me. So a year ago is when I first started deciding that I wanted to actually, put these songs together, what they call radio-ready versions that I could try to pitch. Pitch is the term they use when you have a song and you're trying to get somebody big in Nashville, a big producer, publisher, to say, hey, I'm going to take that song and we're going to take it to Jason Aldean or whoever and see if they like it. So I went through that route of where I wrote it, and I met another country artist down in Texas that did what was called a scratch demo. So I would give him the lyrics and kind of my input on what I thought it would sound like, and then he would do like an acoustic version. And then we would, do that back and forth till we got the sound that we wanted. Then we would send it to the actual guy down in Texas who would hire, the bass player, the drummer, whatever, and he would put it all together. He would produce it, he would mix it, and we'd get the final product. Well, sometimes the final product wasn't what you envisioned, right? There was a lot of kind of leniency that went into it, and not being there, right? I'm in Iowa, this is all the way down in Texas. It just, the songs didn't turn out the way I wanted, and there was a lot of cost, with that. So this way, it's just been so much better to where, I can talk to these guys, and there's so many different guys down there in Nashville that are willing to work with you. They're trying to make their mark. They want to get their name out there as well. Some guys are just trying to make a buck, right? Keep a roof over their head. Yeah. And so it works out a lot better.
Some are trying to find lightning in a bottle.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And hopefully
that's really a good combination of people right there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And we've met so many nice people when we go down there, 3-4 times a year to visit. And a lot of the people that play down on Broadway, man, they're phenomenal artists. Great singers, and they're just waiting for their chance to be discovered. There's a guy down there, Matt Greer, who's a great singer and become a good friend of mine. He's helped me on some songs, put some input on it. And he plays at Tootsie's on Sunday night, and that place is packed.
Oh, wow.
And these guys are just great artists. So, everybody wants to try to get their break, but, you got to pay your dues. So,
yeah, exactly. What's your wife's name?
My wife's name's Bonnie.
Bonnie. Does Bonnie like the song you wrote for her?
She does. She's been very, very helpful to me, because lots of times when I've got a couple different ways to go with the song, the guys down there said, hey, here's a version, here's a version. I go to her every time. I say, what do you like? What do you think? And, whatever she says, that's where I go, because she's got a good ear for music. And, I appreciate her input, and she's always honest with me. There's some songs I've wrote, and I've told her about it. I let her read the lyrics. She goes, I just don't get it, and it's like, fine, we'll move on. I've got 150 I'm working on right now. So,
wow.
It is
so,
what it is. So
once it gets the seal of approval from Bonnie,
yep.
Then you move on.
Then I move on, yep.
So you don't even say seal of approval. You just say it's been bonnied.
It's been bonnied. There you go. Nice one, John.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yep.
We are currently at what I'm going to call 18 minutes and 18 seconds of podcast excellence.
Oh, boy.
And before we wrap up this conversation, because I don't want either one of us later to say, oh, we should have talked about this.
Gotcha.
Or we should have done this. Or I really might want to mention this. What is that?
What I would like to say is, if there is anybody out there that is an aspiring songwriter, follow your dream, okay? Because there's an avenue now for you to get your music out there. With the album that I've got out there and the next one I'm doing, if I don't end up ever, getting 1,000 streams, I don't care, because I've done what I wanted to do. It's enjoyable for me to put the work in. And believe me, when you take the songs from the paper and then you hear that thing playing on something, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, whatever it is, it's really enjoyable. And it gives you a sense of fulfillment. Everybody's got a story to tell, and that's a great thing about country music. To me, it's a great venue to, put pen to paper, tell your story, put it in music, let other people hear it. There's so many other people that have had similar experiences that when they hear that song, make their hair stand up, to give them goosebumps, because they've been there, they've done that. So I just say, hey, do it.
I like that.
Okay.
Dave, thanks so much.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure meeting you, and I appreciate you inviting me on your very successful podcast.
Well, thank you, and it's my pleasure.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Washington, Iowa's own Dave Morris, and kind of neat thing coming up on Tuesday, July 8th. At Your Choice Family Restaurant in Wayland, Iowa. It's the Southeast Iowa Today with John Bain cruise in there, and I'm going to give folks that attend that cruise in a treat that night, because I'm going to play Dave's song Time Machine in its entirety so you can hear it in person. And I highly encourage you to go out there and buy his album too. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Your Choice Family Restaurant, Girling Repair, B&B Propane, and the family of Jet Stops, CW Tree Trimming LLC, Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.